Hello, my name is John Body, and I'm studying environmental assessment and management at the University of the Fraser Valley. Long before Canada was formed, the Stolo, or people of the river, occupied the land on which the city of Chilliwack and the Browne Creek Wetlands are located. I support Indigenous learning and seek to incorporate Indigenous ways of knowing in my planning, research, and studies. In this video, I'm going to discuss the challenge of protecting urban development, which is one of 5 main environmental management challenges at the Browne Creek Wetlands site. As part of my research, I participated in a field trip to the Browne Creek Wetlands on October 6, 2021, led by Natasha Cox of the Fraser Valley Watersheds Coalition. The environmental management challenge of protecting urban development is diverse, intersecting, dynamically changing and evolving, and has a variety of impacts on socio-cultural values, environmental health, and economic costs. The challenge of protecting urban development is complex and evolving. The frequency and severity of weather events due to climate change is exacerbating this challenge. The growth and development of cities are intricately tied to their surrounding peri-urban and rural ecosystems for flood regulation and control. As cities and urban areas continue to develop, they create more impervious surfaces, while also simultaneously taking away valuable green infrastructure, such as forest canopies and soils. Flood risk management of urban development affects societies, economies, human quality of life, and safety and security. Low probability events that have extremely high consequences, both in terms of life and livelihoods, have to be prevented and mitigated against. Unfortunately, as recent events of 2021 have shown us, the trend is not our friend right now. The challenge of protecting urban development from the risk of severe flood events is expanding and becoming more acute. Often, solutions to this challenge have come at a cost, or values have been in conflict with each other. However, there is a recent concept of implementing flood risk management through nature-based solutions. Nature-based solutions can mitigate flood risk and also offer a wide range of other benefits, which include biodiversity, recreation, water quality, and resilience to climate change. The Room for the River project in the Netherlands is highlighted on the Fraser Valley Watersheds Coalition social media as an example of international best practices for integrated water management. One of the broad issues of global climate change is that it rains harder and more frequently. Rivers must discharge ever-increasing amounts of water. Rivers confined between higher and higher dikes are getting less and less room. Through this €700 million program in the Netherlands, the rivers are given more room to ensure the safety of people and farmland, while allowing for the spatial beauty of the landscape. The objectives of the Room for the River program, initiated by the Dutch government, are to offer flood protection and to improve the overall environmental quality in the river region. The 5 major program elements are: Number 1, dikes are relocated inland, making floodplains broader. 2, floodplains are excavated, allowing more room to discharge water. 3, the summer beds of rivers are deepened. 4, high water channels are created in a parallel dike system, giving a separate route for water to flow. And 5, temporary water storage areas are created. The Room for the River program was put to the test in July 2021, with the highest river levels since 1911 in Germany, Belgium, and the Netherlands. The program anticipated that such high water levels would reoccur more often because of climate change, but it was not expected that such an event would present itself so quickly after completion. Dutch authorities are convinced that more severe flooding with massive economic costs and loss of life would have occurred if the Netherlands had hesitated on its Room for the River program. Climate change and severe flooding events are also highly pertinent to the Fraser River Valley. The devastating floods in Abbotsford in November demonstrate the critical importance of protecting urban development. The challenge at the Browne Creek Wetlands site is to create a strategy that will offer flood protection, reestablish native salmon habitats, create biodiversity, protect existing industry infrastructure, and offer recreational and educational opportunities for the community. The existing setback dikes at the Browne Creek Wetlands site make FVWC's rehabilitation project possible. The double dike system provides the green space between the Vedder River and the dike protecting the local communities. It is a fantastic model for creating biodiversity and space for soft infrastructure such as walking trails and recreational opportunities while protecting communities from flood risk. The Fraser Valley Watershed Coalition's project at Browne Creek Wetlands is an excellent example of nature-based solutions for highly innovative water management. They are able to mitigate the risk of severe flooding, which will significantly impact lives and livelihoods, while synergistically creating trails and recreational opportunities and enhancing biodiversity and salmon habitat. All of the values intersect in a positive way. The alternative of gray infrastructure and engineered solutions, such as the Barrowtown Pump Station, are less resilient and more prone to mechanical failure. Without environmental management, the continual growth of urban environments at the expense of the surrounding natural watersheds will heighten the risk and severity of major flood events. The social, environmental, and economic costs are tremendous. Gunnell, Mulligan, Francis, and Hull, in their 2019 journal article on natural infrastructure for flood management, show that there's a strong reliance on forest, soil, and wetland storage as a means of upstream basins providing protective natural water storage for cities downstream. Furthermore, they state the importance of protecting these green infrastructure areas since they are vulnerable to land use modification. Their analysis of green versus blue water storage capacity is critical for city planners to plan on mitigating the effects of climate change and increased flood risk for cities. You could either prevent or mitigate stormwater runoff. Planning policies can foster more density with less impervious surfaces to prevent runoff. Flood management has typically been hard-engineered solutions or gray infrastructure. Nature-based solutions are green infrastructure methods to mitigate stormwater runoff. The United Nations Environment Program and the G20 published a report in 2021 called Smart, Sustainable, and Resilient Cities: The Power of Nature-Based Solutions. This graphic from the UNEP report illustrates the interconnectedness of nature-based solutions in all areas of life: economic, social, health, environmental resilience, and quality of life. The great work that the Fraser Valley Watershed Coalition has accomplished at the Browne Creek Wetlands is an excellent example of synergistic nature-based solutions. Interpretive signage along the site's walking trails explaining the rationale and effectiveness of these nature-based solutions would be a great educational opportunity. Local, regional, and provincial planners, as well as international planners, would also benefit from learning more about best practices and case studies for nature-based solutions for water management in order to protect urban environments. The Browne Creek Wetlands is a great place to learn from.